Hey guys, welcome to another segment here. We're getting down to the end close. We have our Division 3 select playoff bracket breakdown here on Ballin in the Boot. I'm joined by Grant Sasseray as well as Crescent City Sports, Rigorous Sports Media. I'll give them a chance to talk about what's really cooking in a little bit with both going on with Friday Nights at the Bayou as well. And I'm also joined by Alex Allison and Daryl Felker here, Gridiron Football. We're talking about the playoff matchups here, the quarterfinals and the semifinals, and we get to see who will punch their ticket to the Caesar Superdome for the state championship games after the conclusion of this week. So, guys, let's talk about which was one of the toughest brackets here and one of the most exciting brackets, Division 3 Select. How about the Dunham Tigers? And you're able to get that one right with Dunham getting the win over LCA. Although it looked bleak for a lot of the game, as LCA was up 30-13, but 21 unanswered points by Dunham came crawling all the way back to win that football game and keep their undefeated season alive. Guess who also kept their undefeated season alive? The Bunkie Panthers. They won. They just find ways to win football games. We talk about their offense and Dylan Compton, Kyle Johnson, but this time it was about their defense, winning 14-12. Alex was at this football game. We'll get a chance to talk about that in a little bit. But man, we got a matchup of unbeatens here. Dunham and Bunkie, two great quarterbacks, Elijah Haven, Dylan Compton, great offenses, great defenses. It's going to be a great matchup down there by the chapel and on Segan. And then also, yeah, let's talk about Calvary Episcopal, I guess. Calvary Episcopal, 52-10. I was at that one, and let's just say it was great for a couple minutes when Episcopal took a 3-0 lead, and that was it. I mean, Abram Wardell, 5 touchdowns. You have all kinds of different weapons, but it was a sophomore that broke out here. Braylon Hugon got all kinds of offers already at the D-Wood level. 3 touchdowns. This team is dangerous, and it really pounced on a good Episcopal team, 52-10. And then finally, how about probably the most shocking result from the quarterfinals or any bracket, and that is Catholic New Iberia shutting out Newman 31-0. Eli Friends had a great career at Newman, but it ends in a salty way for him. 4 interceptions being thrown by Eli Friend and Catholic New Iberia. Talk about really Coach Asomo over there leading the Panthers to the semifinals. What a run they've had. Luke Landry is a great quarterback as well. And that's going to be a great quarterback matchup between Abram Wardell and Luke for sure. Calvary Baptist will host Catholic New Iberia in one matchup, and it's Dunham and Bunkie. So, guys, let's go and take a look at these semifinal matchups. Alex, I'm going to start off with you first because you were at the Bunkie Jewel Sumner game. And we talk about a lot of Dylan Compton, Kyle Johnson, but you're there. It was ugly, but Bucky found a way to win, and that's what matters most at this time of the year. Just find a way to win and advance and play another game.
This game is fascinating. So I was at Bunkie Jewel Sumner, which was an awesome game to be at. It was so much fun, and it was fascinating because Jewel Sumner got the game they wanted. Jewel Sumner was a very run-heavy team that just wanted to control the ball, shorten the game. It was one of the shortest games of the entire weekend in the quarterfinals. Like, we were done before other games had hit the fourth quarter. And Bunkie found a way to win anyway, not by changing the game, because at halftime, Jewel Sumner was leading 6-0. Bunkie was shut out in the first half. Bunkie only had 2 possessions in the second half, and they still found a way to win the game because their high-end talent, their playmakers made plays that allowed them to win the game, and they executed within the confines of the game they had to play because Jewel Sumner got that game. They didn't change the game in the second half. They didn't explode and score 4 touchdowns in the second half and have these 2-minute possessions. No, they very slowly matriculated the ball down the field, led a touchdown drive, and then when their backs against the wall, Ron Patterson intercepted the ball, ran it back for a pick 6, and then Kyle Johnson makes a tackle to win the game. And at the end of the day, I have to look back and think to myself, is this game different if Jamon Dyson is playing? Because Kendall Brown and Brooks, the other running back, they both looked really good, but the team was just lacking that star power explosivity that you were expecting from Jules Sumner. And especially when Jules Sumner was kind of dominating in the trenches on both sides for a lot of this game, they were able to run the ball. They were great on third down, great on fourth down. Bunky wasn't very clutch when it came to that sort of stuff, except for making those 1 to 2 really important plays to win the game. And their offensive line was getting dominated by Jules Sumner's D line. It felt like a game Jules Sumner was going to win for a lot of it, but Bunky somehow found the way to win a game that I think if you repeat it 10 times, Jules Sumner wins more often than not. On the other side, you could say the exact same thing about Dunham and LCA. Dunham was losing by 17 points late into this game, right? And I'm driving home, seeing the score at the end of the third quarter be LCA up 30-13, and I'm already formulating in my head what am I talking about the Bunky LCA game, a game I would have picked LCA to win. Because I thought that matchup was going to be really bad for Bunky. I thought Bunky's was not going to be very good in the trenches, and I thought LCA was going to be more prepared to win a game in that sort of situation. But the script flips a bit because of Dunham winning a game that, again, you repeat that a bunch of times. Maybe LCA wins more often than not because they're probably getting that big lead pretty often, and that matters. Dunham's another team that finds a way to win the game. They have maybe the best quarterback in the state of Louisiana already, despite being a sophomore. He's amazing, of course, Elijah Haven. He has had some struggles throughout the season, but when he does, the defense comes to play too. These are two teams that have the capacity to be really high flying and for this game to be pretty high scoring, but also have defenses that are able to come in clutch when the offenses don't always produce. These two teams feel like two sides of the same coin in a lot of ways. And I think it's going to be a really even matchup, and I don't have much confidence one way or the other. Ultimately, I took Bunky to win this side of the bracket and go to the state championship going into the season. Going into the bracket, excuse me. But I'll be honest, I think Dunham's going to pull it out. My mind has changed from watching the Bunky Jules Sumner game. They're both really, really good football teams, but I want the better quarterback, and I think Elijah Haven's the better quarterback right now. And ever so slightly, I will take Dunham by a hair. But I think this is a really good game. I think this is a really close game. One of the games I'm the most excited for going into this week.
All right, so it's like Alex is going to go with Dunham. Change his mind on that one. So we'll see how that goes. And Daryl, your turn to decide. Are you going to go with Dunham? Or are you going to go with Bunky? Which undefeated team you got moving on?
I'm gonna roll with Dunham. I think I'm pretty sure I had them going to the state championship. I'm gonna stand by that. And I mean, their performance last week really kind of solidified my decision because I mean, 21 unanswered against LCA, who we all were saying that this isn't the best team that they've had, but still a really good team. And I mean, their defense, they held it down for them to come back. But the offense also was able to just start buzzing at the snap of a finger almost. And 21 unanswered to come back and win that game. That kind of momentum, I feel like that carries over into next week. I mean, I saw a video of the home crowd. They were going nuts. And I think just in that atmosphere, once again, two undefeated teams. This is going to be another game that I'm contemplating going to. This is going to be an amazing game, but I'm going to roll with Dunham pulling it out as well. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Dunham going to the state championship.
All right, so Daryl's got Dunham as well, and it's definitely one of the most aggravating places for a media member, especially if you're trying to be on the sidelines, because there's no room on the sidelines to walk through at all at Dunham's football field for sure. Grant, I know your thoughts on this one. I think you picked Bunky last week because of Jamon Dyson's status, and it proves that was really the difference in that football game. But Bunky's a great team, man. I mean, a great offense. And like Alex mentioned, these are two teams that really are kind of a similar type of team. Like they're explosive on offense, but they're good and sound defensively when they need to be. So both undefeated teams. Who do you have winning and advancing, Grant?
I picked Bunky to win against Joe Sumner because, yeah, like you said, Jay, Jamal Dyson was not in. And I also thought that Joe Sumner was just a bad matchup for this Bunky team. And also, it's really tough to win at Joe Sumner. It's a really raucous place. It's in a hole. That's why they call it the hole, because it's literally in a hole.
It's,
It's
like a
it's literally underground.
great.
It's a very tough place to play. But I'm going to pick Bunky to win this game. And the reason why I'm picking Bunky is because I just think they're bigger up front. I think Bunky is just big. They have a big running back. They got explosive players on the outside. I just don't know how Dunham is going to do on the inside because this is the smallest front seven that Dunham's had. They're very physical, but they're not nearly as big as Bunky. I'm going to have Bunky winning this game and advancing to the state championship, and I think that'll be the second representative. The third representative actually that from Senlaw that will make the state championship. So that's a good. Like I said, like I kind of alluded to earlier in our previous show. Not previous show, but like one of the previous shows that we're doing for the semifinals. And I said that Senlaw will have I think we'll have a great showing for the Dome because a lot of these guys haven't been here, right? And so I think they're but they have been here. So it has been either it's been a while, but they've never been there before. And I think you'll have a huge attendance rate from all the Senlaw schools because it's an opportunity that these teams may never get to see again. So, I'm going to pick Bucky to win this one.
Yeah, my thoughts on this. I mean, Coach Hillman. I have a lot of praise for Bunky, man. Coach Hillman's an awesome young and up and coming coach for sure. And what can I say about him? I mean, they got 3 players that are committed to playing in our bowl game at the end of the year too. So we definitely have a lot of praise and respect for Bunky. And be honest with you, I picked Dumb at the beginning of the bracket, and then I was actually leaning towards Bunky for the most part. But then I saw how Dunham won that game. Anytime you get down 30-13, now there are times. The reason I picked them at the beginning of the year, I guess the beginning of the bracket, I mean, is because they've won ugly games. Like when they need to. This is the first time where their offense was sluggish, their defense wasn't stopping LCA, and they still found a way to win the game. So that one kind of blew my mind a little bit, and I'm gonna go with Dunham with it being at home, with the way that they won that football game. Kind of really, like I agree with Daryl that redefined or my pick on just surging confidence in them. But yeah, this dumb team, Elijah Haven. I mean, he's a headliner, right? I mean, top quarterback in the 2027 class, but I think that gets lost in the shuffle. They're a good football team. I know Grant says that physically up front, they can run on Dunham, but man, this is a scrappy team. Like they are physical. So like this is a team that tried Chad Elsie. They tried running on Dunham with Chad Elsie, and they actually contained Chad Elsie for the most part. And that's the best running back that played all year long. So I like Dunham here. The way they've been playing football, find different ways to win football games. Really Bunky did the same thing at Joel Sumner, really playing Joel Sumner's game and still find a way to win the game. But I'm gonna go with Dunham, but that should go either way. That'll be a great football game for sure. So it looks like we're 3-1 there, and we're going to go to the bottom side of the bracket. Calvary Baptist taking on Catholic New Iberia. Calvary Baptist. I gotta say, their fans are really excited that game was at home because I was in the press box and they were time that score was being announced with Catholic New Iberia and Newman, and now Calvary Baptist is definitely the best roster in terms of talent of all these different teams. Seeing them in person. They really crushed a good Episcopal team by 52-10. But Catholic New Iberia crushed a really good Newman team, and nobody really expected that one coming. Maybe people thought that they could win by not much, but man, I mean that was a statement made 31-0 by Catholic New Iberia. Now they'll play each other. Catholic New Iberia will have to make the travel. So, Grant, I'm going to start with you first here. Calvary and Catholic New Iberia. Calvary's the defending state champions. Catholic New Iberia's an incredible run here. Grant, what do you got?
Calvary.
It's that simple, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think Calvary's the best. I mean, Calvary's the best team in this bracket. I've said this since the beginning. And now that Newman's out and they host, dude, they're going to the dome. I mean, they're going to win. I don't know. I mean, the game is the game of the state championship could be a lot tougher than the game of the semifinals. I think Catholic Noah is a good team,
Are you giving
but
any
Calvary
credit
Baptist is
for
better.
beating Newman 31-0?
Newman was injured. I said that in the last show. They had injuries. They had injuries on the offensive line. Brett Bordelon, one their star offensive lineman who's coming to LSU, did not play. And that played, and they had injuries all over the place. I'm not saying they had a lot of injuries where it could have affected the game, but you lose your best offensive lineman, and I think they lost a couple guys on the offensive line too, not just Brett. And then you may have had some injuries elsewhere. That's going to play into Catholic New Iber's favor, especially when you had that size differential on the line. And when you take that away, Catholic New Iberia can allow to do the stuff that they want to do, and that's what happened. And they forced you left friend to throw 4 picks. By the way, Abram Wardell is a lot better than. I mean, Eli Friend's a great quarterback, but Abram Wardell doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He's thrown 5 interceptions in 2 years, I
Yes.
believe. I think he's thrown 3 this
Yeah.
year and 2 last year. So he does not make mistakes at all. So Grant's going with Calvary Baptist. Alex, who you rolling with here?
Calvary Baptist, taking them to win. This team, I haven't seen either of these teams play, but I have heard a bit about what Jay said about the Episcopal game. I'm sure he'll go more into that here. But that team looks so good. That seems crazy. The only thing that gives me pause, and I think it gives everyone a little bit of pause, is the Catholic New Iberia score against Newman. I mean, you make all the explanations you want about why it happened, but 31-0 is it moves the needle about your expectations about a team. I just don't know how much it's going to matter. I could think Catholic New Iberia is a much better team now than what I thought 2 weeks ago or a week ago or whatever, and it still probably isn't going to be enough to tip the scales and me wanting to pick them over Calvary, just because I think Calvary's that good of a football team. So yeah, I think Calvary Baptist is going to win this game. They can even win comfortably, and that doesn't mean anything against Catholic New Iberia. I just think this team's really, really good.
All right, so that's 2 for Calvary Baptist. Daryl, are you with the crowd here?
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Calvary Baptist as well. But I mean, I think kind of like Alex said, this 31-0 victory, injuries, whatever happened, it does make me look at the game a little differently, just a tad bit. I mean, that's a huge win for them against the number 2 seed. They are going on the road up to Calvary Baptist. Jason, you kind of touched on it earlier. It was crazy up there. They wanted the home game. I'm sure the fans are going to pack the stands out. They've been waiting on this, but I think it's kind of like how I feel about John Curtis. Like through their run in the playoffs, I've gained a lot of respect for that team.
Yeah.
But when you get to this matchup, it's still like I don't take John Curtis over Ash. And I think it's going to be kind of the same thing with Catholic New Iberia. They've had a really good run up to this point, but I can't take them over Calvary Baptist. So I'm going to roll with Calvary as well.
Yeah, I've seen this team in person up in Shreveport last week. Called the game, and I love how they gave Episcopal a little hope, and then crushed it in 2 plays. And I was like, oh, this is going to be rough. But this team, to show you how good this team is, you got Devin Harper, the Ole Miss commit, right, blocking, okay, leading the way. James Simon, who really has barely played this year. He's only had just a little bit over 100 carries because they don't need him. A Texas commit. He's a Texas commit. The backup running back to him is an Air Force commit. Okay, that's the backup running back. And then you have 2 receivers that one coming in from Huntington and a 1,000-yard receiver on the outside. They got Division I Lex. But the best player, Abram Wardell, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the state champion, and their best player is a sophomore. He's the best player on their team, and Braylon Huglon. He was the X factor. And I know, like, you're saying this guy's the best player over James Simon and Devin Harper. Like, yeah. He's already got an offer from Texas Tech, Ole Miss. He's a sophomore already. He touched the ball a couple times, and Episcopal was in position. He just outran everybody. So this team's got all kinds of weapons. I just don't know how. No disrespect to Captain New Iberia, that definitely moved the needle a little bit as far as their result goes in terms of looking at them as a football team. I mean, much respect to the Panthers, great football team. But man, I just don't see really any. And these are three great football teams that are left. I just don't see how anybody beats this team on paper. I mean, they're just that good. They're the best roster, and a lot of time, hey, it's the Jimmies and Joes, man, and they got the best roster in terms of athletes. So I gotta go with Calvary Baptist. I picked them to go and win the state championship again. I can't go against them now after especially seeing that last round. So I'm gonna go with Calvary Baptist. But yep, that is going to be our Division III select bracket breakdown here. Calvary Baptist will play Catholic New Iberia, and Dunham will take on Bunkie. Four great teams, should be two great matchups. Make sure to check out all of our bracket breakdowns here at gridironfootballusa.com. We'll have all of them posted on our website on the Wednesday as you're watching this. So check us out. For Grant, for Alex, for Daryl, I'm Jace. We'll see you all next time with another bracket breakdown here on Ballin the Boot.